Well, hello everybody. It is me, the sweaty and hard-working Pacific. Let's go for a cruise, everybody. You know what? I want to deal with something, and this has become very, very spontaneous. First of all, before we talk about this subject, let's talk about one of the benefits of living in the United States of America and being a property owner. I don't own it, but I want you to see, and all the ladies out here especially, need to see this huge bounty out here. Look at them tomatoes, huh? And I mean, we got kale, we got everything in here. We got spinach and lettuce and greens and beets and cabbage. And I'm telling you, man, look at this. We've got cucumbers. Let's see if I can shine that in there. And what do we got over here? Look at that. See that big fat zucchini hiding in there? See if I can get a view of that. There it is. But yeah, look at this. Little baby watermelons. Watermelons. Pretty cool, huh? Today I came home from church and did what I don't normally do. Check out this squash, man. Got some squash going on in there. It's kind of hard to see. Some more rows of cabbage. Cabbage is looking pretty big and getting ready to be picked. Viewers, I'm going to say something that's going to shock a lot of you. Yes, I'd love to leave the United States of America because I'd like to explore and experience other things. I mowed all this today, and I just keep up on this yard like nobody's business. Got some grapevines growing over the fence. I have a nickname for this, but I can't give it to you because it gives away the location. But basically, the first part of the name is a camp. But this is what I do. I mow all that, mow all the way back in there, and make it look like a park. And I did all that today after church. Viewers, I just want to express some thanks to God that He's been giving me great ideas for video stuff. And I'm thankful that some of you all got on my case about giving too much attention to the trolls. You were absolutely right. And because this channel is unique and different, I can say that. I'm not one of these typical macho males that feels the need to prove something and act like I'm bulletproof. I'm not. But I want to talk about a subject today, and I'm going to talk off the top of my head. There could be a chance I misreport stuff. Look at that, man. Come on, Paul, how about that 80s hairdo? I want my viewers to know something because I think it's time for people to understand where Pacific stands. America has its problems. And somebody recommended a video today, and I started to watch it, and I got 5 minutes into it, and I thought, I'm done. It's not the person who gave it to me. I like her. She's cool. But I need to refute something. I need to give a statement that my viewers will be shocked to hear. As much as I prefer to be in Asia or just about any other country because of what is going on, I want to clear the air about the IRS. People say it's illegal, that the IRS is not constitutional, that it's illegal to collect income tax, and they've got their little things that they claim can prove that that is so, that there's no law, including interviews with former IRS agents, yada, yada, yada. Okay, in Romans, it's very clear that we are to give respect to whom respect is due, honor to whom honor is due, tribute to whom tribute is due, taxes to whom taxes is due. Let me give you a simple formula, folks. Those roads that you drive on every day, that public library you go to, that fire station that you've come to depend on, the police when you call them, those are all tax dollars. You have no idea, as an average citizen, how much you depend on daily, that if it weren't for tax dollars, you wouldn't have an infrastructure. They get money from property taxes, they get money from income taxes, they get money for sales tax. Sales taxes usually cover state and city. Income taxes, those usually cover federal issues. Now, I'm not saying that government officials and certain legislators do not vote in foolish and ridiculous policies that gouge us even more on our W-2s. But let me say something. This is a government by the people and for the people. And one of the reasons that we left England, one of the reasons was we did not want taxation without representation. We actually have that in this country. We can complain all we want about Obama, Bill Clinton, Bush, but we must remember, we vote the people in. We get what we deserve. And as much as I don't like to admit it, and it's fun to run with conspiracy theories, the problem is a lot of them just aren't true. There are those that want to believe that 9/11 was manufactured by our government. I'm sorry, I don't believe that. I believe terrorists struck us blindsided because we are a trusting, pretty open nation. The citizens cried out for protection after that. The citizens wanted increased security measures, and we got it. Some things went too far, and the government had to, believe, if I understand correctly, they had to stop listening in on phone conversations or something to that effect because it was illegal. But they can monitor our internet activities, you better believe it, and don't think they don't. Whether it's my YouTube channel or any kind of correspondence you got going back and forth, there's key words and key phrases that pull out the Homeland Security's red flags. I don't have a problem with that, and I'll tell you why. If you're threatening to blow up United States property and United States citizens, you should be dealt with. But the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, whether people want to get into semantical straw man arguments over whether it's legal or not, I'm going to say it is a force that is here, and it's here to stay. So all the belly aching, screaming and yelling and telling everybody to quit paying their taxes is not going to happen. It's just not. As Christians, we have no choice but to submit. We have to submit to the laws of the land, and the laws of the land are, you don't pay your income tax, you're going to get in trouble. And people can say, well, there's no law. Well, there is a law. If you don't pay your taxes, you can get in trouble. The Internal Revenue Service will send the authorities after you. We do have representation. I admit it's not good representation currently, but the people voted them in. Are we dealing with that fact? Are we looking at the fact that we voted in a president that we all knew was going to push for a healthcare reform? Yeah, it reformed it all right, made it more expensive for everybody, and put more money in the pockets of the HMO providers. Not only did we vote the clown in once, we voted the clown in twice. We're getting representation of what we voted in. The key, folks, is to vote in people that try to lower taxes, that try to lower government spending, and try to have a fiscally conservative policy that says no more national debt. We're done. We're not going to print more money. We're going to clean up our problems, and we're going to clean them up good. We've got ourselves in a predicament, though, on many fronts. We try to be the policeman of the world. And sadly, if we weren't, there'd be a lot more crises going on. The U.S. is now, to some involvement, trying to deal with ISIS in Iraq. And it's easy to say we shouldn't deal with it. But if we don't, they could end up on our front door. The United States did not deal with Hitler until France got its butt wiped all over France, until Winston Churchill pled for our help. I don't believe that the IRS is illegal. I really don't. It's an organization for collecting taxes. And as much as I'd like to get more money back on my paycheck, unfortunately, the roads that I drive on every day, they're not paid for by me. Not when I buy stuff at a store. They're paid for by our taxes. Do you know how much roads and gutters and curbs and sidewalks and fire hydrants cost? Do you know how much police protection costs? Do you know how much it costs for the fire department to maintain a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365 days a year fire station? Do you know how much it costs to run a library, stock a library, fund a library, replace missing and damaged books? All of our emergency services, Centers for Disease Control, the Food and Drug Administration, OSHA, lots of organizations out there that our taxes pay for, the National Transportation Safety Board. They make laws and rules that protect us. Yes, we talk about bad drivers, but if we didn't have those organizations, we'd have an even worse problem. Look at Russia. Russia's got some of the worst drivers right now. Almost everybody has a dash cam, and these people can't even drive across town without getting hit. As much as I complain about the driving, the United States has some of the best traffic laws in the world. We set the standard. Unfortunately, people in America are abusing that. People in America are becoming more and more lawless and more in your face. I don't care. But America set the standard in the world for traffic, in my understanding of things. In the 1940s, 1950s, interstates were developed that made it easier to travel across this big nation. Unfortunately, there were spin-offs from that aren't so good. People could get anywhere, crime could be committed and left from one place to another. You could take bad people from a bad neighborhood and deposit them in a good neighborhood, and on it goes. But I'm going to say something to my viewers from a Christian perspective. I know Christians in Duluth and other places that told me I don't pay my taxes. I don't believe I'm honoring Christ by paying our government that doesn't use our tax wisely. That's not going to fly before God. Pay. What did Jesus say? To whom, to whom should we pay tribute to? Caesar's or to God? And what did Jesus say? Whose inscription's on the coin? Caesar's. And what did Jesus say? Yep, that's right. Give to Caesar's what is Caesar's. Give to God's what is God's. There you go. One of the biggest problems we have in the United States as Americans, and this interferes even with our Christianity, is we think we have a right to earn and keep every dime we get. Well, I got a news flash for you. This will be very sobering to my viewers because a lot of us don't want to hear this. The money you earn came from God. Oh, it did not. It came from my hard work. God gave you the hell to get up and go to that hard work every day, didn't he? He also opened the hearts and the minds of the people that you work for to even let you be hired and let you stay. You know what I'm finding out as I get older is if God wants to shut you down, he can shut you down so easy. In the sermon at church this morning, it was talking about the plague of boils and the plague of hail in Exodus, and God told Pharaoh, if I wanted to end this, I could have ended it right now, but I brought these things hoping for you, trying to get you to repent. But you keep hardening your heart against me. God says, I don't need to do this small stuff. I could get out the big Louisville Slugger and go and bat Pharaoh right out of the park. God was trying to get Pharaoh to wake up and be merciful at the same time. Read about the judgments he brought on Egypt. He even warned the people, this is going to be a hailstorm like one you've never seen. Get these people in the house and get the livestock out of the fields. Everything that's undercover will be safe. Did they listen? No. But God still showed mercy and gave them a warning and a provision. We need to obey God, and our money is not really our money. It's on loan to us from Him. One of the biggest problems in American culture is we think, I own that house, I own that car. No, you don't. God could take it away from you just like that. I tell people, just right there, 30 seconds from Colfax. Colfax is a street in Denver that has pimps, drug addicts, prostitutes, crime. It's something else. It's the longest continuous street in the United States of America. At least that's what we've been told. The fact is, I always said we're only 30 seconds from Colfax. And I don't just mean that when I'm giving somebody directions, but I tell them this. We're all 30 seconds from Colfax. You get hit by a car and lose your legs, you're suddenly out of a job because you can't walk to work. God could just do a little tiny thing to make you lose all your bank account, your house, your job, your looks. Everything we have is not the result of us. Yes, the Bible talks about the fruit of our labor, which is our paycheck. But God could make you have no job and be fired. What was that? Something fell on me. Just hope it isn't bird poop. We complain that we got to pay taxes. And I will tell you, Americans don't like to pay except for their toys. That's true, let's be honest. I'd rather get more of my money back for fun stuff than needs. Remember when you were kids? For those of us that did the old Christmas thing and we got our presents, I don't do it anymore because I don't believe in it. But you know what? When you got socks and underwear, guys, you didn't like that, did you? But then when you hit your 20s and moved out on your own, your mother sent you socks and underwear and shirts and stuff, all of a sudden you were like, wow, thanks. Am I right? When I was in Minnesota and my aunt and uncle sent me a pair of sweatpants and a sweatshirt that I had for years, good quality. I wore it to bed, I wore it around the house. It was nice and warm for those Minnesota cold winters. I love getting those gifts, because if I got any money, then I could spend it on fun stuff. God promised to meet our needs. And even if the U.S. government becomes tyrannical and starts doing things, we have to look to a faithful Creator. That's the truth. I don't believe the IRS is illegal. I don't believe an income tax is illegal. What does bother me is the amount of taxes that go into the federal government that's just literally urinated away and wasted. Pork barrel projects, special agendas, exorbitant senator and congressional leaders' salaries, the best health care in the world, Air Force One and all the perks and privileges coming to protect every president that's still alive. Personally, I think once a president's done, the CIA or the Secret Service should protect them on their last flight out, and then as soon as they get to where they're going, the Secret Service says, we're done. They get protection for life. Let them go out into the world with the rest of us. But that's why we need to vote in the right people so that they can have us led in a good direction. But we live in a country where you cannot please everybody. Today, the gays and the homosexuals and the lesbians and transsexuals are all clamoring for their so-called rights. Abortionists want their so-called rights. Animal activists and every other wingnut and crazed fool out there wants their rights. We cannot please and cater to everybody. People have changed the definition of sin and morality, therefore everything's falling under this umbrella that should not. Taxes are necessary to fund a huge infrastructure that we take for granted every day. When you get on a city bus, yes, you have to pay fares. But the city buses and the transit system in the U.S. is heavily subsidized by the federal government. If it weren't, the city buses in Denver and all over the U.S. would shut down, except for maybe New York. I've ridden the RTD, and there's sometimes hardly anybody on that bus. But I'm thankful it was there when I needed it. So this is my express opinion. You are welcome to leave your comments. Don't expect me to engage in a go-round with the conspiracy theories. I won't do it. People will debate me till the cows come home whether the IRS is illegal or income tax is illegal. You need to answer this. Where then are the taxes supposed to come from? When they assess a property tax on your property, some of that goes to federal, some of that goes to state, some of that goes to the county and school districts and everything. Your federal income tax goes to the federal government. Your state income tax goes to the state government. If you're privileged to live in those states like Washington and others that don't pay a state income tax, you get charged a higher sales tax making purchases on stuff. I'm not against taxation. We do have representation, but we keep choosing foolish representation. The only way to turn the tide is to stop choosing foolish representation. I think I've said enough on this. This is Pacific, signing off. Bye-bye.